Test. Test. There we go. Wow. There we go. There, let there be light. Okay. I was in black mode only. Wait, no, that doesn't sound right. I was in low contrast mode. Or high contrast mode. Video capture. Okay, and we're good to go. Guys, we don't have a lot of time. What to start off with? Hey, how's it going? We do not have a lot of time today. I'm going to try to keep this stream to about 2 hours. But there's a lot of shit that's happening. So to start off with, we need to do our due diligence. Yeah, I went black mode. We need to do our due diligence, and really that is talking about the government and that boring thing where it's day 41 of the government shutdown. Planes are falling out of the sky. No one can travel. Food lines are stretching around the block. People are starving. The Trump administration is suing to say that we do not have to feed starving children. What is that charity? Feed My Starving Children? Trump's never heard of it. Jeffrey Epstein letters are being released. But what's really important, we need to ground ourselves and orient ourselves to the things that are most important in life. And that is, there are 2 Instagram models that don't want to work with Ethan Klein and his wife. Okay? That is the most important thing. And the reason they don't want to work with Ethan Klein and his wife is because of all of you. It's you in chat right now. It's you, the silent viewers watching my stream, that are ruining Ethan Klein's life and making it so that his mass-produced assembly line, soulless, I was going to say wife, but no, makeup company is extremely unpopular with the American people, okay? So we can talk about the government reopening. We can talk about millions of people losing their health insurance and how people are just going to literally be on their own. And if you saw the first episode of Cyberpunk Edge Runners, it's like they're going to scan you for your insurance before they take you to the hospital or anything. We can talk about that. But is that the most important thing for us, really? Is that the most important thing? Well, let's talk about it a little bit. So the House is meeting again today. House Speaker Mike Johnson has summoned the House back into session to pass a stopgap funding bill as soon as Wednesday, though, to end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Votes could kick off by 4 p.m. Wednesday. That's in a few hours. Wait, I guess it depends what time zone. Bringing in the number of Democrats in the House up to 214. After they swore in a representative from Arizona, but their leader indicated that he expected no member of his party to defect. And I would honestly I know we're making jokes, but this is actually important. Please call your members of Congress, your representatives in the House, and tell them to vote against this bill, vote against it. Like, they're not going to vote for it, but it's also important to let them know that you care, that you personally care, and that there is going to be repercussions for stepping out of line for this. Because these senators that voted for it, like Chuck Schumer's ilk, they think that they're protected because they don't have elections coming up, and they're senators. They're the most powerful people, right? They're the more powerful branch of Congress. They think they're protected. Call your senators, call the ones that voted for the bill, voted to backstab the Democrats and sell out the American people. Call them, tell them to resign. If you didn't have a senator that supported that, call them anyway, call your senator anyway, and tell them to call for the resignation of the 8 people that voted to shut it off. I have my list right here. I have my list. It's always handy on my desk. Gene Shaheen of New Hampshire, Dick Durbin of Illinois, Tim Kaine of Virginia, Maggie Hassan from New Hampshire. Hassan, I always knew that was a bad actor. Angus King of Maine, Jackie Rosen of Nevada, Catherine Cortez Masto of Nevada, and John Fetterman. I mean, obviously John Fetterman should resign anyway, but Yeah, like, don't forget those names. I named my stream with those 8 names for a reason. Um, last Sunday. We're strongly opposed as House Democrats to this reckless Republican effort to continue to raise the high cost of living on everyday Americans, which is exactly what they're doing by failing to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, Jeffries told reporters during a press conference on Capitol Hill Tuesday. The House Democratic leader indicated that it is his expectation that his entire caucus will oppose the legislation to reopen the government, but he will have a family conversation with members Wednesday afternoon. That's at least good to hear because that's not something that Chuck Schumer ever said that he was going to do. As silly as it sounds, we're going to have a family conversation with the leaders of America, with the politicians that are supposedly the leaders of America. We're going to sit down and have a family conversation with them. But like, still, this is more leadership abilities than Chuck Schumer has ever demonstrated that he has. I will have that conversation during our caucus meeting at noon. It's utterly insane to me that like they haven't had a conversation earlier than this. He's saying that we're going to have a conversation the day of the vote. Like, I'm sure they're calling each other, but Zoom exists. You can just get all of the you can't get like 214 Democrats on a Zoom call and lay down the rule of the law. He added, but our strong expectations is that Democrats will be strongly opposed. Republicans have a 219 majority in the chamber, affording them just 2 no votes before their own conference would tank the funding legislation. The spokesperson for Representative Jared Golden of Maine indicated that the congressman's position hadn't changed since he voted with Republicans to pass the funding bill in September before the House's shutdown was forced by Senate Democrats, providing the GOP some breathing room in the House. Johnson gave House reps just 36 hours on Monday to jet, train, drive, and in at least one case, motorcycle back to Capitol Hill, declaring that the national nightmare of the shutdown was finally coming to an end. Who's fucking What they're making it sound like some kind of action movie where Mike Johnson's putting up the bat signal, and the Congress people everywhere across the country see it in the sky. They stop what they're doing and they like take any kinds of transportation means necessary to get back there. As of Sunday, nearly half of all domestic flights and U.S. flights were either canceled or delayed, and it's a very serious situation. So I'm saying that by way of reminder, I'm stating the obvious to all my colleagues. Republicans and Democrats in the House, you need to begin right now returning to the Hill. Yeah, of course. They reduced the number of flights in U.S. airspace by 6%. Okay, fair enough. They passed the amended funding bill. Thomas Massey, who sits on the rules panel, intended to strike language about a hemp ban from the funding bill after his fellow Kentucky Republican Rand Paul tried and failed to the same in the upper chamber. So, like, this is the thing, though. If they try to make amendments to this bill, it's going to have to go back to Congress, and it's going to be like another week or not go back to Congress. It's going to have to go back from the House to the Senate, and then the Senate's going to have to vote on that, and it's going to take another week of time. Paul's amendment went down in flames in a 76-24 vote, but it's unclear if the inclusion of the hemp ban will cause more issues in the House after it divided some Republicans in the Senate. I mean, yeah, this is what I want to know, though. Like, are there going to be Republicans that are going to vote against this? College club leadership, who cares what this guy has to say? Okay. Is the House funding bill vote like House expected to vote today on ending record-long government shutdown? It survives key hurdle before House-wide vote. What's the key hurdle? Like, are there any Republicans giving dissent to the bill? Because they can only afford 2 no's. The House will vote on the federal funding bill. It now moves to full consideration. Passage through the House Rules Committee is a meaningful step toward the end of the shutdown, now the longest in U.S. history by roughly a week. Panel's hearing to advance the bill lasted more than 6 hours. Democrats attempted to force votes on amendments dealing with COVID-19 era enhanced Obamacare subsidies that are, we know this already. I'm sick and tired of hearing you all say we had an 8-week vacation. House Rules Committee Chairwoman Virginia Fox RNC said at one point, I worked every day. I don't know about you. I don't want to hear another soul say that. Who's she responding to? The lengthy hearing saw members on opposite sides of the aisle clash several times as well, with Democrats repeatedly accusing Republicans of robbing Americans of their health care and taking a vacation for several weeks. It's like, I worked every day, okay? So stop insulting me. Dude, these people are so thin-skinned. Are you serious? Millions of people are going to lose their... You're voting to kick millions of people off of their healthcare. There's already food lines, like, there's already food stamp lines around the corner. Well, actually, there's not, because there are no food stamps. There's just food pantry lines. People are trying to rely on their charities now. The administration that you serve is suing states that are trying to use federal funds to feed children and other people, but like children specifically, or children especially. And she's like, stop saying that I took a vacation. I worked. Like, get over yourself, man. The egos on these people, and they're just so out of touch with the actual consequences of their policies. I don't know if there's like a clean way to do this, but if Republicans actually got a taste of their own policies, like if the Republican politicians got a taste of their own policies, I think we'd see a lot less Republican politicians. But like, yeah, imagine if the people that voted for this policy, they lost their healthcare coverage too. This one, he's the one to lead us. Yeah, exactly. Jeffries, we're going to have a family style conversation. All right, what do you got, Jeffries? What did he say? The Democrats have been whipping votes against the continuing resolution, which includes funding for some departments through the next fiscal year. Many party members have already declared their opposition, as the bill does not include an extension of the ACA subsidies. Despite the push, several moderate Democrats could back the bill, giving GOP leaders a little breathing room. Dude, holy shit, if there are any Democrats that back this bill, that is an absolute testament. Like, that is the death knell of the Democratic Party. It's already over, I guess. It's already over. We had eight Democratic senators stabbing the party in the back, stabbing the American people in the back, allowing this bill to go through, even though it's going to kick millions of people off of health insurance, and like a completely feckless Democratic leadership that actually enabled this, that ran defense for it. And now you have like a leaky sieve in the House too. Like, this party is donezo. This is a walking corpse of an opposition party. It's completely meaningless. Like, what are we actually, how are we opposing this if we can't even get all of the Democrats in the House to vote against it? Roll call votes. We have a live stream. All right, let's just watch this.
We're going to begin with this because we could see an end today to the pain caused by the longest government shutdown in history. The House votes later this afternoon on a bill already passed in the Senate to reopen the government. So this could be good news for federal workers and SNAP food recipients. But the battle over rising health care costs, well, that continues big time. Nicole Killian is on Capitol Hill with the latest. Nicole, I know there's a lot of unhappy people in Congress right now, but so many people just want this to be over. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Gail. Yeah, that's right. Look, GOP leaders are very confident that they will have the votes and the president will sign this bill into law. That would bring this shutdown to a close, providing relief to millions of Americans as soon as tonight.
Crazy framing by the news on this, by the way. It's like, oh yeah, they just want this to be over and we can bring relief to millions of Americans. Relief by having them lose their health insurance? Like, what are we talking about? Relief by food stamps being opened, which is what the fucking government should be doing anyway. Relief by not getting fired, which is what the federal government should be doing anyway. Like, this is all things. What this bill does is say, oh, we're going to fund food stamps. Okay, well, the government is legally obligated to do that anyway. We're going to not fire federal workers because of the government shutdown. Well, that's illegal to do anyway. Like, the federal government is obligated to not fire them anyway. We're going to, like, pay people now. They were supposed to be getting paid anyway. Like, if you really wanted to get this over with, then the Republicans could just say, they could pass bills that are like, okay, the government's going to be shut down, but we're still going to pay these workers. It's the Republicans that are the ones like with the gun up to the heads of these workers and being like, if you don't actually give us everything that we want, we're going to pull the trigger. And the CBS Morning is framing this like it's the Democrats that are the fly in the ointment of this government working smoothly. It's insane. Like, there are courts literally sending down judgments saying that the Trump administration needs to pay people. They need to pay states so that states can feed children and fund SNAP benefits. And the federal government is refusing to do that. Like, in flagrant violation, in flagrant violation of court orders. Let's see. SNAP benefits ruling. Like, this is actively being worked out through the courts right now. I don't know what the Supreme Court is doing. The Supreme Court is saying that on Tuesday night, the Supreme Court extended the administrative stay, keeping McConnell's ruling on hold until November 13th, with the House of Representatives slated to vote on Wednesday on a deal to end the shutdown. Like, dude, this Supreme Court is completely capitulated to the federal government. Like, they've completely capitulated to the executive branch to the point where they're like, oh, I know you're just violating laws right now, and a lower court actually upheld the law, but we're going to just, like, put a pause on the lower court telling you need to follow the law. Like, imagine this. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go like rob a store, but don't worry. I have a pause on people actually enforcing the laws to stop me from robbing a store. And the court's like, okay, well, like, it says here that you're going to stop robbing a store tomorrow, so we're just gonna like keep that pause until tomorrow. And then once you stop doing the crime, violating the law, then that law is going to be effective again. They're like, we're going to pause these laws that you're violating until you stop violating the laws, and then they're going to be enforced. It's like, what is this, the purge? It's like we have the purge set up for the government, for Trump's authoritarian regime to do crimes until they stop doing the crimes. And then the Supreme Court's like, okay, well, now we're going to enforce those crimes. Just don't do it again. Don't do it again. It's insane. It's like every branch of our government has completely folded, except for like some federal judges, although they get completely undercut by the Supreme Court. The brief unsigned order presumably gives the government time to reopen and for SNAP benefits to resume. Like, what does this mean? The brief unsigned order presumably gives the government time to reopen and for SNAP benefits to resume. But they were ordered by a court to pay SNAP benefits for the duration of the government shutdown. You can't be like, okay, well, we're like, the order was to pay SNAP benefits for the government shutdown, like through the duration of the government shutdown. And then they're like, okay, but I guess we're just not going to enforce this. And it's not going to matter anyway, because eventually you'll stop violating laws. Jackson indicated that she would not have extended the administrative stay and that she would have turned down the government's request. The Trump administration and a group of nonprofits and cities sparred over whether the Supreme Court should block an order by a federal judge in Rhode Island that would require the government to fully fund the federal food stamp program, known as SNAP, for November, despite the government shutdown. U.S. Solicitor General D. John Sauer wrote on Monday afternoon that the rulings by the U.S. District Judge John J. McConnell Jr. Goddamn, what a name. Judge John J. McConnell Jr. injects the federal courts into the political branches' closing efforts to end this shutdown. You're upholding laws. Like, you can editorialize this as much as you want, but the administration is violating laws that require them to pay for SNAP benefits during a government shutdown. And you're like, well, the government shutdown is going to end in like a week, so why should we even uphold this at all? The Trump administration unequivocally agrees that any lapse in SNAP funding is tragic, but as he had stressed on Friday night when he first asked the justices to intervene, Sauer said that the only way to end this crisis with the executive, which the executive is adamant to end, is for Congress to reopen the government. Dude, it's like, oh, the only way to stop me from stealing is for me to just decide to stop stealing when I leave tomorrow. So why would you actually try to get me to stop stealing today? The challengers countered on Tuesday morning that even if negotiations to end the shutdown are underway, that is a reason to deny a stay of McConnell's ruling, not to grant it. And although they agreed with the government that the present situation has been a recipe for chaos, they insisted that the chaos was sown by the Department of Agriculture's delays and intransigence, not by the district court's efforts to mitigate the chaos and the harm it has inflicted on families who need food. The two briefs, which were filed less than a day apart, were the latest in a whirlwind of activity surrounding the challenge. In an order on November 1st, McConnell directed the government either to fully fund SNAP benefits for November by November 3rd or to partially fund the benefits using emergency funds by November 5th. But McConnell was dissatisfied with the delays that followed the Trump administration's efforts to implement the latter option. In an order on November 6th, McConnell instructed the Trump administration to fully fund SNAP benefits for November by Friday, November 7th. The Trump administration went to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the First Circuit, asking the court to pause McConnell's ruling. So he's like, pay for November, okay? He orders them to pay for the month of November. They don't do that. They go to the U.S. Court of Appeals and asking that court to pause McConnell's ruling and to issue a temporary block known as an administrative stay while it considered the government's request. The court denied the government's bid for an administrative stay on Friday, but indicated that it would act as quickly as possible on the request for a stay pending appeal. Sauer then came to the Supreme Court on Friday night, asking the justices to intervene. He called McConnell's order requiring the government to fully fund the SNAP program for November unprecedented, adding that it makes a mockery of the separation of powers. Dude, this is literally what the separation of powers is. The federal, the executive branch tries to do things, and then the judicial branch reins them in. They say if you have violated laws or not. More broadly, he wrote, makes a mockery of the separation of powers. The whole idea of a separation of powers is to have checks and balances. If you're just saying that we don't want the judicial branch to have any checks and balances over what we're doing in the executive branch. This is the definition this is the reason for separation of powers. It would so further shut down. Guys, we can keep reading this, but the point is, the Trump administration isn't just not feeding children because they're evil. They're not feeding children because they see it as a way to pressure Democrats into ending the government shutdown, which is even more evil. They're like, oh, we're literally going to allow children to starve so that these Democrats will give us what we want politically. You have the power to feed the children, and you're just not doing it. And you're like, we're not going to feed these children because ultimately, if we feed them, then we're going to not be able to feed them. That's what they're saying. They're like, we don't want to pay SNAP benefits now because it won't let us pay SNAP benefits when the government opens again. Because we want the government to open again so we can pay SNAP benefits, but we're not going to pay SNAP benefits in order to pay SNAP benefits. It makes literally no sense. It's just fucking evil. And the sad thing is, this was backfiring on the Republicans. They were being evil in broad daylight, as plain as the eye can see, just not feeding children, and threatening to rip away health insurance from millions of Americans. And they actually they took a hit because of that. They were suffering in the elections last week because of this type of thug politics that they were playing on. And you see that the Democrats just have no spine at all, and when they see that there's a political opportunity, when there's actually an opportunity to make a change in this country by either forcing the Republicans to get rid of the filibuster, or forcing the Republicans to drop even lower in the polls and getting more political wins in upcoming elections, or forcing Republicans to reopen the government with health insurance subsidies for the ACA. The Democrats that want to get nothing done, that are in power, they get scared and they're like, oh my God, an opportunity for political change? This can't happen. We just cannot allow this to occur. And so they fold immediately and they work with the Republicans to pass legislation that gives the Republicans everything they want and protects their institutionalized incompetence. It's like the filibuster is an institutional tool of incompetence. And what do we have here? What do we have here? Well, instead of actually, like, you know, holding the party line, the Democrats just release emails from Epstein about Trump, which is like, yeah, Trump was a pedophile, and he was a great pedophile. He was like one of the best pedophiles that I've ever seen before.
Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, minutes ago, literally, releasing emails that they say were written.
This is CNN Breaking News.
All right, we do have breaking news in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, minutes ago, literally, releasing emails that they say were written by Jeffrey Epstein that explicitly, specifically mention Donald Trump by name, and in context.
Dude, I don't understand why people are still surprised about this. Like, we know that Donald Trump was best friends with Epstein. They have countless pictures together. They've done beauty pageants together. They've had parties together. Donald Trump wrote Jeffrey Epstein like a coded pedophile, like sexual assaulter themed birthday card for his birthday that he signed. We know that Epstein used Trump not only learn how to traffic women, basing it off of Trump's modeling, his modeling companies, in which he'd get models from around the world and bring them under his wing, essentially. But Epstein literally trafficked women that worked for Donald Trump. Like, Trump said himself a few months ago that the reason he broke up with Epstein eventually is because Epstein took women that were working for Donald Trump for his private island to work for him. Like, what? He learned how to traffic from Trump. He did traffic from Trump, and they're best friends. Why are we surprised that, like, oh, now an email got released where Epstein said, yes, this guy's a pedophile, and he circles Trump with a big red circle and then points an arrow at him? Is this really breaking news? I don't know. Maybe I'll eat my words and there'll be like videos or something
That we really haven't heard before. Let's get right to Caitlin Collins, who's got this reporting. Caitlin, what are you learning?
Yeah, John, these are emails that show Jeffrey Epstein mentioning Donald Trump by name multiple times in private correspondence that he had with people, including Ghislaine Maxwell, obviously his longtime associate and accomplice, and also the author Michael Wolff, in a time span of about the last 15 years or so in these emails. Now, these are coming out from the House Oversight Committee. They had issued a bipartisan subpoena to Jeffrey Epstein's estate, John, as you know, earlier this year. And so they've gotten their hands on a trove of documents. And these are emails that included Jeffrey Epstein on them. They were sent either to him or from him that mentioned Donald Trump before he was in office and also while he was in office during his first term. And I want to walk you through these emails of what exactly we are reading in Jeffrey Epstein's own words in these emails that have been released by the House Oversight Committee. And in one of them, Jeffrey Epstein...
This is just kind of comical. They're like, yes, these are emails saying that Epstein was huge friends with Trump and they were pedophiles together. Meanwhile, we'll show you a bunch of images of Epstein being big friends with Trump and their shared interest in pedophilia. Like, okay, this is bombshell reporting, I guess.
Says, and I should note, Trump did not send or receive any of these messages. He's not a party to these emails, John, but these are emails from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. This is one from April 2nd, 2011, and in this email, Jeffrey Epstein writes to Ghislaine Maxwell and says, quote, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. There's a name that's redacted, which the House Oversight Committee has said is a victim of Jeffrey Epstein's. Obviously, we have not been able to independently confirm that because her name is redacted from this email. But they say redacted spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there." Ghislaine Maxwell responds to that email, John, and says, quote, "I have been thinking about that." Now, there's no context for that message.
Bro, that's crazy. Like, I know there's all of this circumstantial evidence, right? Oh, Epstein was best friends with Trump. He based his business around Trump. He literally trafficked women from Trump. The countless anecdotal evidence about Trump and Epstein both being way too interested in young women. But then you just have it's like, I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. So first of all, only a psychopath writes in all lowercase. But somehow uses punctuation with hasn't. But anyway, I'm getting on a sidetrack. He's basically saying Trump hasn't squealed on us, even though he spent time with an underage girl. Blank spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. So he's just like, Trump has not been mentioned. Either Trump has not been mentioned in investigations, or Trump has not been mentioned in investigations, or Trump hasn't squealed, and probably like a little bit of both. I'm 75% there. And then Maxwell's like, yeah, I've been thinking about him.
75% there. Ghislaine Maxwell responds to that email, John, and says, quote, "I have been thinking about that." Now, there's no context for that message in this release of what we're getting. Obviously, this was a time span, and this was about 3 years after Jeffrey Epstein had accepted what is. Now, there's no context.
Well, what did she say? Blank Mar-a-Lago, blank, redacted. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever. Of course he knew about the girls he asked Ghislaine to stop. This is from Jeffrey Epstein to Michael Wolff. And it just says, Trump has said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls he asked, as he asked Ghislaine to stop. So this is just this is Epstein telling a reporter in Michael Wolff that Trump knew about the girls he was trafficking, and he asked Ghislaine to stop trafficking the girls. Is that what he's saying?
For that message in this release of what we're getting. Obviously, this was a time span, and this was about 3 years after Jeffrey Epstein had accepted what is now known as that sweetheart deal that only got him a few months in prison, and something that came under a ton of scrutiny during Donald Trump's first term in office because of his then Labor Secretary Alex Acosta, who helped negotiate that plea deal, that sweetheart deal for Jeffrey Epstein at the time. And so that's the context of this. Came about 3 years after he had negotiated that plea deal, John. And there's also other emails that have been released by the committee this morning, including between Jeffrey Epstein and Michael Wolff. People will remember Michael Wolff, of course, the author who wrote a book on the inner workings of Trump's West Wing back in 2018 during his first term. He is someone who has talked at length about his own correspondence with Jeffrey Epstein, published audio recordings of those conversations between the two of them. And in another email, and this seems to be a reference to Donald Trump saying that he kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago club, and Jeffrey Epstein writes to Michael Wolff and says, quote, "Trump said he asked me to resign." And he adds, John, "Never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop." Now, again, we don't have the context of this email, but John, that comes as in recent months, we've heard President Trump himself and the White House say that Jeffrey Epstein was kicked out of Mar-a-Lago for being a creep. And Trump himself told reporters on Air Force One that he was trying to poach women, he and Ghislaine Maxwell, from the Mar-a-Lago spa. And that was why they had such a falling out, and why he ultimately asked Jeffrey Epstein to leave.
Oh, that's so fucked up. Like, once again, Trump is fine with him trafficking women. What Trump isn't fine with is Epstein trafficking women from Trump's Mar-a-Lago. He's not fine with Trump is not fine with Epstein trafficking his women. Like, he doesn't give a shit about other people, but it's like, those are mine, Jeffrey. You can't go there. Well, what did I tell you? I said, how many times did I have to say it? You can't take the girls out of my spa. Those are my massagers. You can find your own.
Club. Now, there's also a third email in here, John, and this is, again, in regards to Jeffrey Epstein and Michael Wolff. And Michael Wolff emails Jeffrey Epstein, and this is back in December 15th, 2015, so the height of the 2016 campaign, just to put that in perspective for you. And it was the day of a CNN Republican primary debate. And Michael Wolff says, quote, "I hear that CNN is planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in a scrum afterwards." And Epstein wrote, "If we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be?" Michael Wolff responded at length, John. I'll summarize it. But he said, in regards to Trump, "I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the House, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. Or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt." Now, I'll note, John, we looked at the transcript of that CNN debate from December 2015. There's no mention of Jeffrey Epstein in there. And of course, as I mentioned, Donald Trump himself is not a party to these emails. But what this shows...
Bro, what the fuck is this shit where it's like Michael Wolff is giving Jeffrey Epstein political maneuverings advice? Like, isn't he supposed to be a reporter? He's like telling this guy the optimal way to play Trump in the 2016 campaign.
And debate from
That's
Jeffrey
crazy.
Epstein mentioning Donald Trump by name multiple times at a moment here in Washington when their relationship has come under incredibly intense scrutiny, John.
Caitlin, as you mentioned multiple times, we just don't have the context surrounding any of these emails. But that first email you read, the language absolutely jumps out to me. This is April 2nd, 2011. Epstein writes to Ghislaine Maxwell, "I want you to realize the dog that hasn't barked is Trump, blank." And blank here is one of the alleged victims of Jeffrey Epstein. A victim spent hours at my house with him being Trump. He has never once been mentioned. Now, again, we don't have the context surrounding that, Caitlin, but this kind of language from Jeffrey Epstein himself, how often has Donald Trump, what has Donald Trump said about contact he may have had or time he may have allegedly spent with some of Epstein's alleged victims?
Yeah, and John, just to be clear, the woman, the person whose name is redacted here was redacted by the House Oversight Committee before they put this out. That has been a huge point of focus as people have demanded the release of these documents, is to be able to protect the survivors and the victims. We have not been able to independently verify who this person is. The committee is the one doing the redacting here. But obviously he is referencing someone who Jeffrey Epstein says in this email from 2011 that spent time with Donald Trump at his house. And so
kind of a non-story. Like, how many pieces of evidence do we need to how many different pieces of evidence do we need before people are just like, yeah, he's a pedophile? Like, the Republicans already know he's a pedophile. They've accepted it. Oh yeah, Trump, he's a pedophile, but we kind of like dropped the Epstein thing. Like, what do we have? Who was the big Jeffrey Epstein person? Like, who among the right were doing that Jeffrey Epstein narratives? Jeffrey Epstein, what do we have? Fox News. What? White House slams Dems' bad faith Epstein document. Release as demand for files intensifies. Okay, let's get the Fox News. Let's get the Fox News take on this. The White House is firing back after House Democrats released a set of documents Wednesday detailing previously undisclosed communications from Jeffrey Epstein about Donald Trump. The Democrats selectively leaked emails to the liberal media to create a fake narrative to smear President Trump. Yeah, obviously they did it selectively. The whole point is to get Donald Trump to release all of the things that he has, all of the investigation material that he has accumulated on Epstein. That's the whole point of it. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said in a statement to Fox News Digital. Oh, wait, we need to see her interview. Caroline Leavitt, Fox News. Okay.
Allow the president to use tariffs as leverage to negotiate economic deals that are, again, are good for our national security. shutdown is going to come to an end. The damage.
What is Kash Patel doing up there?
And if successful, we would suffocate the drug trafficking organization's ability to manufacture fentanyl in places like.
Thank you again, Director Patel. Before we get going, I do have one quick scheduling announcement. Tomorrow, the government shutdown for 4 days, impacting vulnerable activity over the course of this shutdown, hurting consumer sentiment and crushing.
Come on, let's just get to the Fox News thing.
Leaving our policymakers at
Not
the
the Fox
Democrats'
News.
weakness and their unwillingness to buck the fringe members of their party dragged this harmful shutdown. The
Shutdown,
affordability
blah, blah,
issues
blah.
created by Joe Biden and the Democrats. And that's exactly what President Trump has done since day one of his administration. Since the first day in office, Social Security, our energy and
Shut down.
nearly 3,000.
A senior government minister launched a fierce defence of the channel in the House of Commons, saying that the broadcaster remains a light on the hill for people.
And a machine
Jesus.
that is unfortunately subsidized by, and whether they apologize or not is up to them. Thanks for being here, Bev. And he rightfully dubbed that term many years ago, and this is a class.
Oh, is this the Epstein?
Has always been very frank when he disagrees with leaders, even whom he has a good relationship with.
I don't think so.
The BBC, being a fair news organization, is definitely an outlet. I think these two leaders would disagree. The president has made it very clear that this is a leftist propaganda machine that is unfortunately
BBC is a
subsidized by
leftist
British
propaganda
taxpayers.
machine.
He thinks that's extremely unfortunate for the great people of the United Kingdom and Great Britain. And I think full.
Released by House Democrats.
Oh, here we go. Let's fucking lock in.
Sure.
I have your statement about the new Epstein emails that have been released by House Democrats. Separate from why you believe the emails were made public, can you address their substance? Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said.
Did Donald Trump spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim? I'll tell you what, Donald Trump did nothing wrong. Oh, you didn't answer the question.
Is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, he was from Palm Beach, and so was Epstein. He loved children, and so did Epstein. He was a consumer of high fashion and modeling, and so was Epstein. He loved Little St. James, and so did Epstein. Like, let me lay out all of these different connections for you. Now, if you're a pedophile, then being a pedophile means that you could say that they did nothing wrong if you're a pedophile. So, yeah, maybe just stick to the facts rather than moralizing Donald Trump's pedophilia for us.
Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out.
And he kicked him out for trying to steal his massage workers.
Because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. And this email...
No, that's not why. That's not why. He didn't kick him out because he's a pedophile. He kicked him out because he hired a spa worker that Donald Trump didn't want him to hire. He was fine with him trafficking women as long as they were women that worked for Trump.
You refer to with the name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it, Virginia Giuffre. And it was CBS.
What? What? It was unredacted? She's just saying the name of the victim? Okay.
His own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Giuffre maintained, and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And so I think it's a question worth asking the Democrat Party, and you should all go ask them after this briefing, of why they chose to redact that name of a victim who has already publicly made statements.
Bro, it's to protect the it's your party that says you can't release these documents because you need to protect victims. And then you're like, why did they redact the name of the victim? Oh my God. Also, like, you can say that the victim that came out talking about the victim that came out talking about Donald Trump said that he didn't do anything wrong. Okay, but like he still spent hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house. But oh, you're saying emails are leaked out? We won't put out the files to protect the victims. Yeah. What the fuck? She just like said the person's. I don't know. Apparently, according to her, the name had been unredacted.
About her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein is unfortunately no longer with us. Mary.
She killed herself because of like the trauma and guilt and being harassed by Epstein.
2 questions on this. In the interest of transparency, why not just go ahead, release the full files on Epstein, get this all over with?
And this is the point. This is like actually a decent thing that the Democrats did. I think it's a stupid timing to do it though, because you have the government shutdown this week. Like, you could have waited to do it next week. But the point is to get this narrative back into the news zeitgeist and have reporters asking the White House press secretary, like, why aren't you just releasing all of the files? Well, we have released the file. Okay, well, apparently you didn't, because there was files indicating that Donald Trump did spend hours at Epstein's house. And according to Epstein, he's the dog that hadn't barked. He's not mentioned by the police chief, and he was surprised about that. Why would Epstein be surprised about Donald Trump not being named in investigations if he knew that Trump was just like a distinguished gentleman that was perusing Epstein's house, just looking at all of his art collection that he had?
This administration has done more with respect to transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration.
No, you didn't, bro. Okay, first of all, I thought that was hilarious when she's like, we've done more in respect to transparency. And then she said, in respect to Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, no, you haven't, first of all. If you stopped at transparency, I was going to laugh, because you're literally disappearing people, sending them into torture camps and like slave labor camps in the Everglades and in El Salvador. But okay, she said in respect to Jeffrey Epstein. So you released files that were already released. Like, if you want to say you've released files that were already released and then said you're releasing the Epstein files and it was all released already. I'm pretty sure those were released under Joe Biden. Secondly, Epstein literally died under Donald Trump's first administration. In the second administration, Ghislaine Maxwell was pardoned, essentially, where she's like actively working out a deal with the White House currently. And you've said Pam Bondi, I think it was, had said so many different times, like, I have the files, they're sitting on my desk, I can't wait to go through them. Then you show up the next day and it's like, what files? There are no files. There are no files. And yet there was a FBI leak that said Donald Trump's name appeared in the files. And you're like, we're the most open administration ever on Jeffrey Epstein, even though we lie about it every other word that comes out of our mouths.
Ever. In fact, this administration, the Department of Justice, has turned over tens of thousands of documents to the American people. We are cooperating and showing support for the House Oversight Committee. That's part of the reason you're
showing support for the Oversight Committee, and yet you're like criticizing them for releasing this and attacking Trump and criticizing them for redacting the names of the victims. That's showing support for the Oversight Committee.
You are seeing these documents that were released today because of the House Oversight Committee's and Republicans' efforts to get these out to the public. This administration also moved, the Department of Justice also moved to unseal grand jury testimony, which we know, unfortunately, a judge declined those requests. So this administration has done more than any, and it just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax.
She honestly looks like she's about to cry. She looks like her eyes are red, man.
Democrat Party. For now, they're talking about it all of a sudden because President Trump is in the Oval Office. But when Joe Biden was sitting in there, the Democrats never brought this up. This wasn't an issue that.
Why are you mad about that? Why are you mad about that? Why are you mad that suddenly the Democrats see the light and they want the Epstein files to be released? You should be ecstatic. You should be licking your heels as you jump for joy.
They cared about, because they actually don't care about the victims in these cases. They care about trying to score political.
Bro, they were. Oh my God.
Points against President Trump.
They redacted the name of the victim to protect the victim, and you're like, well, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to say her name because she's dead now.
As we have, of course, seen with this government shutdown, and this entire thing.
It's the Republicans that are literally suing to not feed children because they think it pressures the Democrats to end the shutdown, and you're trying to say that they don't care about the victims, as we've seen in the shutdown? Motherfucker. Your administration is suing. It's like suing through the courts to try to not feed children, specifically because they think it puts pressures on Democrats to open the government again. And you're going to sit here and say that it's the Democrats that don't care about victims, even though they're trying to get the files of the Epstein released? You're like, oh, the Democrats want to get the Epstein files released. They obviously don't care about victims. Oh, the Democrats want to get people's health insurance back. They obviously don't care about victims. Oh, the Democrats are suing the government to feed children. They obviously don't care about victims. They're just doing all of this shit for political points. Oh my God, the projection is astounding. This is infuriating.
Again, it's not a coincidence to the American people at home. There are no coincidences in Washington, D.C., and it is not a coincidence.
There's no coincidences in Washington, D.C. It's just that Epstein was best friends with Trump, and they lived together, and he stole people from Trump's Mar-a-Lago. Trump spent hours at his house with victims of trafficking. He modeled his human trafficking agency off of Donald Trump's modeling agency. Like, yeah, there are no coincidences though, except for all of these coincidences.
That the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government. This is another distraction.
I thought you literally just fucking said that the House Oversight Committee, which is the body that released these emails, is a Republican and Democrat built thing, and it has the support of your administration. What are we doing? Like, she says one thing, and then 30 seconds later says the exact opposite thing. She's like, yes, this administration is extremely in favor of supporting the release of Epstein files and investigating the Epstein files. And actually, the House Oversight Committee has the support of this administration, and it's made up of, like, they release these files with the help of Republicans. But actually, it's a completely politically motivated thing done by the Democrats, and they don't care about the victims, and they're just doing this to try to, like, distract from the government being reopened. Holy fuck, bro. And then Trump is claiming he's going to send out $2,000 tariff checks, totally not buying political points. I mean, yeah, good point.
Campaign by the Democrat in the liberal media, and it's why I'm being asked questions about Epstein instead of the government reopening because of Republicans in
I thought you were in favor of releasing Epstein files, and now you're throwing a hissy fit because someone asked you about these documents that were released. What the fuck? You should be giving us an Epstein update every fucking day.
President Trump.
But given your
Reagan.
interest in transparency, Caroline, why are White House officials then meeting with Representative Boebert in an effort to try and get her to not sign this petition calling for the release of the files?
Doesn't it show transparency that members of the Trump administration are willing to brief members of Congress whenever they please?
What? What, bro? Oh, then you say you're in favor of transparency and releasing the files, then why is your White House meeting with members of Congress telling them to not support petitions calling for the release of the files? And she's like, doesn't it show transparency when members of the White House are willing to meet with Congress people whenever they want? What are you talking about? What is going on right now? No, that's not transparency. That's strong-arming another member of Congress. Holy shit. Doesn't it show transparency when we try to intimidate another politician into doing what we want them to do? No, that you need to get a dictionary. Someone should buy her a dictionary.
Doesn't that show our level of transparency? Doesn't that show the level of transparency when we are willing to sit down with members?
By the way, this is the White House. This is the same White House that refused to have official negotiations with Democrats through a 42-day government shutdown. They needed Democrat votes, and they refused to negotiate with them. But according to Caroline Levitt, talking to members of Congress is a form of transparency for the White House.
Of Congress and address their concerns. That is
because they address the concerns of Congress.
That's a defining factor of transparency. Having discussions with members of Congress about various issues, and I'm not going to detail conversations that took place in the situation.
It's literally not the definition of transparency. Like, you can say that you're open to talking, but that's not the same as transparency.
Room in the press briefing room. Reagan.
I have a question about the government shutdown.
Thank you. I'm glad someone does.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Literally, it just reminds me of the snake Satan's snake in the garden.
Sure, John. I'll go to John and then Zolan. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Trump has talked about sending out $2,000 checks to U.S. citizens. Earlier this year, he also talked about sending a Doge.
All right, whatever. I don't care about the rest of that. That was pretty funny, though. So, yeah, Donald Trump's a pedophile, and the Republicans refuse to release information about Epstein, and they're so adamant about not releasing information about Epstein and Donald Trump that they are strong-arming members of Congress in order to force them to not sign petitions calling for the release of these files. And if you ask them about that, well, strong-arming and intimidating Congress people, that is a form of transparency. All right, great job, Republicans. Oh, man, fucking hell. Okay. We have 1 hour left. You know what that means, everyone. H3 podcast. Oh, it's my old friend, Ethan Klein. Bro, I'm so mad. The government's shutting down. AI foxes on my live feed. Epstein, a letter was released of Epstein being like, Donald Trump's a pedophile. Here, it's this guy's the pedophile. It's him. And they're like, well, we're transparent because we're strong-arming members of Congress telling them to not ask for the Epstein files. That's transparency in our eyes. Shit's falling apart. There's still a genocide going on in Gaza. There's ethnic cleansing, which is a form of genocide going on in the West Bank. All of this is bad news. You know what's not bad news? You know what's always fun and always a good lolcow well that never runs dry? The H3H3 Productions community. It's so funny. What is going on, man? Like, dude, these people are just insane. They're absolutely insane. So you look at what this community is, and this community, keep in mind, the Reddit on this community is a direct reflection of Ethan and Hila's inner mind. Like, they are super involved in the Reddit. They're constantly looking at it. They're moderators on the Reddit. They delete content that they disagree with. They promote content that they do agree with, which then in turn it provides a feedback loop to make more content like that. This is a direct reflection of the main two creators from this show, like Ethan and Hila. And you just scroll on it. It's like, oh, here's someone that hates Cruel World Happy Mind who talked with Chris Kunzler to like get a little bit more informed about the Israel and Palestine conflict. By the way, no invite for me. Come on, like, I'm not claiming to be an expert in this shit, but I'll talk shit about Ethan Klein with you all day long. I'll talk shit about it until the cows come home. It's not anti-Semitic, by the way. It's just a turn of phrase. So do that. Oh, look at this. Hassan went into China, and we need to post shit about him. Oh, here's someone calling the person we all hate a bitch. That's great. Here's someone just making fun of her. Here's like Ethan. Oh, here's Hassan. Like, dude, oh my God. It's ridiculous. Let's just get into this. Like, the obsession it's honestly kind of scary. They find this person and it's just like the henpecking. Like, that's a phrase that comes to mind when I see this. They find someone, they do something just marginal. Here's a slightly invective video about Ethan Klein, and they're like, this person must be eliminated. And then they find it keeps feeding in. All of the posts from the fans feed into Ethan Klein's delusions and his aggression against her. His aggression, in turn, feeds back into the posts. And it's just this disgusting feedback loop of harassment and hate that we see from this community. Like, she's talking with Chris Kunzler, and they're just like, oh my God, she was playing dumb, and just endless harassment. So anyway, what is Ethan Klein saying, though? This is the most infuriating video I've ever watched. She is the most bad faith liar and mean girl piece of shit. I have no clue how to respond to this, so I'm thinking I need to do a public episode tomorrow and watch this whole fucking thing. Like, literally just being like, she's mean and she's a piece of shit. Like, doing the meme of just a guy who's like free, like it's a Dennis Reynolds style insult rant that he's going on. Ethan Klein has also been posting with Dan Bilzerian. He's been posting his DMs with Dan Bilzerian. Like, dude, you don't want to talk to Hassan because you're like, oh, he's a terrorist, but you're willing to talk to Dan Bilzerian because he's a Nazi? Like, you're not fucking supposed to talk to Nazis. Sorry to say that. Oh, this is funny too. Sorry to say, like, you should not talk to Nazis because they just advocate for your elimination. Especially you, like a fucking dumbass who's like, you don't have any balls. And he's like, you don't have any balls. And he's like, well, you're a piece of shit. He's like, you're a piece of shit. That's the DMs he has with Nazis. Okay, great. This was kind of sad. Friends of the show, let's lift up our community and F with the people who F with us. A few that come to mind. Any others? Harley. It's the Epic Mealtime guys. It's the guy from Epic Mealtime. Gabe, a random guy that does he does Cameo, I guess. Rich Lux, just the most annoying person you can imagine. A guy, the Pulp, a guy who does the critically acclaimed rape review show on his podcast and has just become an H3 streamer. And then, like, I don't know who the fuck these other people are, honestly, but... Oh, a guy who tastes water. These are the friends. A Cameo guy, annoying guy, rape review, and Epic Mealtime, who hasn't been relevant since, like, 2012. Okay, so let's just get into this. Addressing the Teddy Bro, by the way, this is their makeup brand. This is the Teddy Glow situation is their makeup.
Coming at you live from beautiful sunny Los Angeles. November 22, 2025. Today we are sponsored by the wonderful Turtle Beach.
Did you just say November 22? It is November 11th when he recorded this.
Let's go. And joined by the beautiful Hilla Klein.
Hi, girlies.
He said
and
Hilla?
Yeah.
Damn, is Hilla Klein auditioning for a Kiss cover band? What is going on with her makeup?
This is me doing it back to you, even though I'm next to you. Here, this is me doing it both ways. How is... Oh, Dan is back. So nice to have Dan back in the studio. Everybody misses Dan.
So much.
Is this my music? It's like...
Oh, this is your,
like
your big entrance.
Yeah. Type.
Yeah, I fuck with that, Zach.
That's
there
awesome.
she is. She's come again. Ooh, she's back. She's walking in the limelight. Okay, sorry. So we are on Tuesday. We had our regular episode was going to be yesterday, Monday. We took a day extra, basically, before we wanted to come on the air. So this is Monday's episode on Tuesday, coming at you live. The reason for that, a lot of people who are on social media, Reddit know, but probably a lot of you guys don't, is that there was some very, I guess, depressing drama around Teddy Glow, and it was giving me a Teddy. Oh no.
Oh no, we don't want to give you the oh no.
I want it to be Teddy Glowed. Right.
Mm-hmm. No.
So we're going to talk about that. Also, you guys are going to love this, man. This girl, Cruel World, dumb, bad research. She's doubling down. Right before this episode, she was doing an interview with Chris Kunzler.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want you guys to know that I'm fighting with every fiber in my being not to call him Cumsler. But it's not even like, it's just there. It's not even like, oh, this guy guzzles cum. It's just like, it's there. How could I not?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I called him Chris Cum Guzzler, that'd be mean. Or that'd be too far.
What's the difference, bro? Own up to it. Stop being like, oh my god, well, I'm not gonna say cum guzzler, I'll just say cum slur. That's more refined than cum guzzler. Dude, this is the comedian, right? Oh man. Like, Donald Trump comes up with better nicknames for his political opponents, and that guy has dementia. I can't say that. That's too far. Okay, dude.
I think those are the pocket.
Like this show has just become a complete snark, right? Oh, I'm gonna watch Chris Kunzler talking with Cruel World Happy Mind because they mentioned me a few times in it. I'm gonna watch the entire VOD of it. That's gonna be my content.
Yeah. So she was on so she was talking to Chris before the show and saying, once again, even more defamatory shit that I was just like, oh my God, this girl. And by the way, again, she's doing this whole thing where it's like, I'm being harassed by H3. Leave me the fuck alone. Like, that's not what's happening. You are now on another show fucking lying about me. Like, leave me alone. Just because I have more audience doesn't mean that I'm fucking harassing you. You are instigating this shit. Leave me the fuck alone. Right?
Yeah. Ethan, you could also leave her alone. Like, if this is a two-way street. Also, just because she's talking about you doesn't mean she's not getting harassed by you and your fans. Both of those things can be true. As Ethan always says, we can hold two things to be true at the same time.
Also, she was getting backlash before the video was even on our subreddit or anything. So I don't know who's harassing her, but
well, no, the people we do know who was harassing her was the snarkers because she called it a conflict instead of a genocide.
Yeah.
So now she's on like a whole like she's trying.
Bro, I mean, we're gonna get into this, but your community has been harassing Instagram models because they said they didn't want to work with Zionists anymore. It's got so bad that you had to make a public post being like, let's not harass people that modeled my wife's shitty ass makeup. Can we please do that?
To prove what a fucking you're not gonna believe the clips. I mean, it's a wild ride. So anyway, we're gonna get into that, and we got all kinds. I mean, I really want to do Boy Throb today. Dan's back, which is important.
You were waiting for me for Boy Throb?
Yeah, I think you'd appreciate it. You've been watching me do Boy Throb. How do you feel about it?
He got me into it, I have to admit.
Into Boy Throb?
Yeah.
Sometimes I just put on the tunes for the music.
Oh, do they have full songs out?
I think they're mostly covers, but I don't know. I don't know a lot of these like pop music.
You're not enough of a pop head to know.
Okay, I don't care. I don't care about this. Boy Throb mystery. Ethan met Jay Leno. Who gives a fuck? Teddy Glow situation. Come on, hit me with it.
Let's talk about the matter at hand, the Teddy Glow update. Ela, how are you feeling?
I feel much better now.
You had a day and people reaching out and
yes,
there's lots of support, which was really nice.
Yes, so much. I don't know where to begin. Where shall we begin?
Let's see. So we made a post on Teddy Glow. In fact, let's start by showing the post that started it all, I guess, let's see.
It was
First, before we start talking about this, let me just emphasize that people please do not message or interact with any of these people we're talking about.
Yes,
there's some people that we feel
Wait, did he say the enemies that people are talking about?
Let me just emphasize that people please do not message or interact with any of these people we're talking about.
Yes,
there's some people
with any of these people that we're talking about. Yeah, but my community doesn't harass. Let's just stop talking about me. And my community doesn't harass. Let me do this disclaimer saying that don't harass the people we're talking about. Yeah, good job, Ethan. Your community definitely doesn't have to do you. Why would your community definitely doesn't harass people? They harass such a lack of people. You feel the need to put a disclaimer out saying to not harass people. He was defending himself on burner accounts on TikTok, bro. I mean, that's all this man has.
That we feel acted inappropriately and cruelly against us, but they're at the same time also just, private.
I do have to say, though, like, I kind of like the jacket Ethan's wearing. I don't know how comfortable it'd be, but I like how, like, puffy it is. Yeah, I like the size that it has. So, yes, and I do appreciate the long sleeves because that tattoo that he has is a pain to look at.
Well, they're models, but like they're not internet people in the same way we are. So, and anyway, just that doesn't help anything. Your support has been extraordinarily appreciated. But anyway, I just want to say for the record, please do not go to any of these people and message them or comment on
stuff.
stuff.
That too. Don't try to speculate. Like if you're not sure who did what or who said what, don't try to speculate and message the ones that to find out or anything like. Because I've heard from like one model, for example, who didn't pick a side. If anything, she was supporting me in all of this. That she's also getting now messages, because
Yeah, so
people
I'll make that clear.
Wrongfully are messaging.
I'll make that clear.
And either way, I know that everybody's unhappy to see what happened, but yeah, messaging them.
Yeah, that's a toned down version of harassing them. Like, why would someone text Ela and be like, oh, some of your fans are messaging me kind words of encouragement? No. They were getting harassed, and they're like, what the fuck? Why is your community like this? Why are your fans like this? Can you please tell them to not do it? And they're like, Yeah, this is kind of a cancerous place that we've created. All right, we're gonna put out a disclaimer. Almost 2 hours into the fucking podcast, we're doing a disclaimer. When at the top they're like, "Cruel World is on Cum's podcast." Yeah, maybe you should put that at the fucking top, or better yet, just don't harass people and then expect your community to not model themselves after your behavior, bro. You are the one that's encouraging this shit because that's all you do is harass people. Why would your, like, dude, if you sit there, like, look, I criticize people on the internet. I'm fine with my community following in my footsteps, okay? I'm fine with people being like, let's call our political representative because I want to make a positive change in the world. And I'm like, yes, let's do that. Let's get informed about politics. And then I don't turn around and say, hey, guys, don't get informed about politics. Don't call your political representative. Don't get out there and volunteer and try to make a good change in the world. Ethan, on the other hand, sits there in misery all day, every day, like 3 days or whatever, now that whatever his podcast is down to these days, in absolute misery, just harping, sniping at these people that he has deemed enemies of himself. And then he turns around and is like, but guys, I know that I just did like 3.5 hours of miserable sniping online. Don't do that yourselves. Please don't do the same things that I'm doing because it makes me look bad. I don't think you need your community to make you look bad. You see what your community's doing and you don't even have the self-awareness to be like, that is a reflection of myself. You're like, no, they're wrong. I'm right. I'm gonna keep harass. The only person that can harass people in this community is me. Unless it's people that you're actually fine with getting harassed, like Hassan or Frogan or Denims, you know. And then he's like, guys, go like comment there and let the sponsors of Denims and Frogan and Hassan know what they've been saying. But now that, you know, they're getting a little taste of their own actions, like their brands suddenly aren't doing so hot. They're like, guys, no, please don't harass people. Like, we are actually just getting completely isolated from the internet. Like, dude, that list of names that we saw from that one H3 fan that wrote a list of all of the allies of the show, that was sad. You have like a rape review guy, and just like a misogynistic and somehow homophobic woman who's like saying the F slur and calling girl with a microphone a bitch. You have her, like, you just have the fucking pilot fish that are feeding on the underbelly of this show, and that's what's described as the allies of the show. It's really sad.
It doesn't help anybody.
So anyway, this is the post, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't help anybody. Then shut the fuck up. Why are you even doing this?
It's like our two amazing looks.
You know what's funny? There's like a snark makeup guru subreddit.
Yeah.
Which I'm hearing now from everybody that Reddit is
even isolating the makeup guru subreddit, which is apparently a snark. Dude, these people have ops everywhere. They have ops everywhere. Oh, the makeup guru subreddit doesn't like our makeup. Is it our makeup that's the issue? No, it must be that they're snark.
Now suggesting to them like crazy,
including myself. Now it's being recommended to me on my
dude. Reddit needs to be held accountable. What they're doing on that website and pushing people into
this whole website is against us. Is it us that's the issue? No, it must be the website. Bro, Ethan, you can't do this in every circumstance. Every rock you overturn, there's people that are like, just like guys sitting there with holding up the middle finger, and Ethan's like, am I the issue? No, it must be everyone else that's changed. Like, you are literally the embodiment of the Seymour meme. Holy shit.
Snark subreddits is extraordinarily fucked up.
Yeah.
But obviously the snark people were being super mean to Hila about everything.
Oh, really?
And I don't take it seriously because they're snarkers, but there was one comment.
They were DMing her? Or wait a second. Did you go and seek out this quote-unquote harassment of a beauty guru subreddit which reviews makeup? And then people were leaving comments on the makeup review that your wife made, and they weren't great. And you're like, these people were harassing Hila. People were harassing Hila for reviewing a makeup that your wife made in a makeup reviewing Reddit. and then you went there, you suck them out, like you seeked them out, and they weren't good, and so you're like, I am getting harassed. Like, dude, this would be like me, I don't know, being like, I'm a Democrat. Then I go onto the conservative subreddit and I see that they're all harassing Democrats, and I'm like, I am being harassed right now. Or like they're criticizing Democrats. I am being harassed. Reddit needs to shut down this cruel campaign of hate and targeted harassment against me. Or like I write a fucking book and the reviews aren't good. I go onto the book review subreddit. I'm getting harassed. I can't believe this. Oh, my stars. Clutch your pearls, bitch. Maybe your next watch you buy should be full of pearls so you can clutch them.
And I thought was actually a sneak compliment. They said, and by the way, there's no way that they actually used the palette to do these looks.
Oh, really?
I was like, they did.
They did.
So
that is a massive compliment.
I was like, hell yeah.
Idiots.
Yeah, idiots, right? So here's the post.
So it started with this post, and then I don't know how much to go into the things, but like it's been a while now that I kind of work with people and we don't tag people because of the harassment that everybody that works with me ends up getting.
Bro, just please tell me that like Keela is wearing the competitor to her makeup to make them look bad. Well, what the fuck is going on? Honestly, I'd respect it more if everyone wore that shitty look, but like, dude, what are you doing? You're trying to sell your makeup right now.
Yeah,
it's been like that for a long time.
So we've stopped tagging people, and then I noticed the makeup artist that we worked with. I noticed at some point after we posted that in their story, they shared this and said something like.
So here's the first one. Are you managing diabetes? Lower your A1C.
I think we're okay.
Without finger sticks. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor. Shut up.
That's what they said.
Do I look diabetic to you?
That's not the first one. Oh, it is the first one. Sorry.
So you want to explain what you're looking at here?
That's so the makeup artist, he had 2 assistants.
Okay.
And then so he was giving a shout out to one of the assistants, or to both of them, who did these looks, because he did other looks.
Yeah.
The assistants did these 2.
Okay.
He's giving a shout out for them, and I was just going through his stories, and I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, so he shared it. So good luck for all of us. And then I keep going through his stories, and I get to the next story.
What do you mean?
You'll see.
He was spilling her drink all over the place.
And there, I see this one. A few stories after he shared that.
So who posted this? Him?
Him.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh yeah.
So I'll read it. He goes, I don't stand with any government or force that thrives on oppression. I stand with the liberation and safety of all people living under oppression. Truly a brave stance, by the way.
Now, I want to also make it clear that after I saw that, I texted him, because he's the one that I actually have a phone number of. The rest I don't.
This shit pisses me off right now. This shit pisses me off so much. Fuck. Gross. Sorry. This shit pisses me off because when you have institutions like America and Israel and like the fucking NATO, or not NATO, but the UN supporting Israel's genocide, and you're like, supporting oppression, supporting genocide, supporting ethnic cleansing, then yes, it is important to make statements like this. Like, if we don't have a grassroots performative, yes, it's performative because you're not actually walking up and snatching the money out of Congress's hands as they're giving it to Israel, or giving it to the the military contractors that are going to send weapons to Israel. You can't literally just get the money from them. This is all performative. It is all telling people where you stand and demonstrating that there is massive support for ending the genocide. That you can either get politicians from your grassroots movements, like we're seeing in Zohar Mamdani, like Kat Abu Ghazala is doing, grassroots promoted politicians, or change the minds of politicians that are in power. And we have seen politicians in power changing their minds on things. So yes, like, when you have the entire fucking world being like, I don't know what genocide you're talking about, it is important to be like, even though this doesn't literally say that I'm against the genocide that's happening in Gaza right now, it's important to still put out statements like this, especially when there's a fucking fascist regime taking over America, which is the main driving force of the genocide. and which is also banning people for making statements. Like, they're preventing people from getting citizenship. They're targeting immigrants, targeting students, targeting politicians, just targeting everyday people for making statements of anti-fascism and anti-genocide. So when Ethan is like, this is a brave statement, then shut the fuck up. You make statements like this in order to say that I'm actually pro-Palestine. I don't support any kind of people living under oppression, right? But you make statements like that paired with your continued insistence that it's actually Hamas that's the reason the genocide is happening. That, Israel's doing bad things right now, but fundamentally they're not bad. It's just an ethno-state that is colonizing the demographic minority that was native to the land. It's just colonizing them and ethnically cleansing them. But, like, Israel's not all bad. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. The guy made a statement because he's like, oh, well, I don't support genocide happening. And it could probably be even more. It could probably be even worse. But it's still kind of important.
I texted him and I was like, I gave him my perspective on everything. And he did send me a really nice message back.
That's good.
That, he's not like ashamed of what we've done together, or he's not.
He didn't erase his stuff as far as I saw.
He never posted it. It's just one story.
It was just a story.
But I think he sent me a really nice message, so I just want to make that clear. I don't want this to become a witch hunt on anybody.
Well, it's also worth acknowledging on the other hand that I understand how scary it is when you get mobbed by a bunch of lunatics who are like, you support genocide, your career is over, buddy. And then you get like super defensive because you're like, I don't support genocide, what are you talking about?
Yeah, especially when you're not used to it. You're not used to backlash. You do something like makeup or whatever, you're not used to being thrown into the middle of this.
And then also like, being mobbed by like 100 people telling you the same thing is like what you... It makes sense that you would just believe them. You're like, this can't be just made up, right? Like 100 psychopaths all saying the same thing.
Which is something that, you've sicked your fans on people for that exact same thing.
And again, when you're not used to it, that feels like a million people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And to continue, my art, my voice will always belong to those fighting to live freely and without fear. That's who I create for. That's where my art stays. Apologies to anyone I've offended. Honestly, I didn't have a big problem with it until the last line. He's like, apology to anyone I've hurt or offended. For what? I just was like, okay. But at this point, it wasn't really a big deal. It was just him.
And at least in this one, like, he didn't call anybody by name.
Yeah.
He didn't make it about me or about Kitty Glow.
Yeah.
But that was the first one I saw.
I think he made an effort to remain professional.
To just let people know where his heart is and still acknowledge something. I understand the statement. It does hurt to see it.
Oh, Jolly St. Nick's in chat. He says, I hope Hila's doing well.
Thank you.
Did she say it does hurt to see it?
To just let people know where his heart is and still acknowledge something. I understand the statement. It does hurt to see it.
Oh, Jolly St.
Bro, Hila, you can't do this shit. You cannot do this shit where you say, you see a statement. This is a statement. I don't stand with any government or force that thrives on oppression. I stand with the liberation and safety of all people living under oppression. My heart and my voice will always belong to those fighting to live freely and without fear. That's who I create for. That's where my heart stays. Apologies to anyone I've hurt or offended. And Hila's like, it hurts. It hurts me. It hurts me to see this statement that you stand with people living under oppression. Bro, you can't do that, Hila. I thought you were trying to say that I'm not a Zionist, I'm not pro-IDF, I'm not pro-Netanyahu, like, I'm pro-Palestine. And then you see a statement like this, and you're like, oh, my heart, it aches. It's like, she touches it, it's like the fucking holy water touching the Antichrist. She's like, it burns, it burns.
I just was...
When you said...
I've been watching your content. I think you're very funny guy.
And I
was doing well.
Thank you. It does hurt to see it.
Oh, Jolly St. Nick's in chat. He says, I hope Hila's doing well.
Thank you. I received your message when you said...
Dude, honestly, they should just bring Nick DiOrio onto the podcast and, like, have him do a rape review. Dude, the fucking October 7th. Bring on the expert to prove that there were rapes that happened on October 7th. Holy shit.
Your message on stream?
I can't believe they're cozying up to this absolute scumbag just because he, like, sucks their cock. Dude, it's so incestuous. It's gross.
The day that I was the most upset.
I love Nicholas DiOrio. I'll say it. I've been watching your content. I think you're very funny guy.
And I feel like your coverage has been really good on topics that I end up watching. Like, you're good with research.
He's the Pope. And I'll say this, Nick, I never thought in a million fucking years I would ever utter these words. Like if you went back 3 years ago or something,
I know.
I would have never even dreamed that you actually were talented. I'm just being serious.
I always thought he was quick-witted. I mean, even though we had different opinions, back then, I felt like he was always good on his toes.
I never really tuned in, to be fair.
I
But
avoided because I knew.
Yeah.
This.
Yes, AB. Yes, debase yourself. Debase yourself even more. Your boss's ass, there's still a few centimeters square to where it hasn't been kissed enough. You can plant those little pouty lips right on the fucking other Gila tattoo that he got. The one that's even worse than the one on his arm. Come on, AB. You can do it. You can get even lower. You can grovel in the dirt even deeper.
People don't like us, so I just never even watched anything.
Just for sanity.
I totally avoided everything.
Which is like the same reason I don't open the Snark server.
Oh my god, people.
Also, to be fair, Nick used to participate in some really nasty stuff like calling Ela horseface and stuff. That being said, water under the bridge. But I'm just saying there was a reason.
Yeah, but he thought that I wouldn't forgive him or anything, but I actually watch your content pretty regularly now.
I think I really like the Oreo. I gotta say, I gotta admit it. I'm a Oreo fan.
You're setting him up though now, because now this is bad luck.
He's gonna turn on me.
Something's gonna happen. You just
And I'll
every
be
time
like,
we
I
endorse
fucking
someone.
always hated that piece of shit. Pope, more like the pauper. Broke. Beggar. You like that reference? That was a good play on words? Pope and the pauper.
First of all, that's not a reference. Second of all, you're like, dude, Ethan, you're the one that said Hassan is bougie because he doesn't like frozen pizza. And then you're like, oh, you think you're cool? Well, you're more like a beggar. You say Hassan is bougie because he doesn't like frozen pizza, and yet you always are like, these people are jealous of me because they have less money than me. And actually, if you ever go against me, I'm going to stop calling you the Pope and I'm going to start calling you the beggar.
Probably do poppers, drug addict. Anyway, nice to see you, Nick. Beat him up with peace and love. What shirt is Ethan wearing? I need it. You're talking about the jacket, I assume.
Probably.
I saw lots of people commenting on the jacket last time I wore it last week. Yeah, it's on the website. It's it's really beautiful. It's got this lovely texture. It's warm.
Waffle.
The details are beautiful. I think you'll love it if you do buy it. Where is it? Is it down this far? Oh, here it is.
There it is.
Dip dye waffle jacket. Yeah, this thing is fucking awesome. Oh, the gray is almost sold out. XL is only left. The blue, there's still lots of blues. So this color really is good.
Nice.
And it's very wearable.
The office?
Yes, Nate. Thank you. So moving on, a model from the photo shoot then started posting about it. Was this the same day?
So this one crushed me because I really like the model, and we've had some. Well, we like interviewed her or them a while ago for a potential job. That didn't happen, but I was like, when the makeup launches, we're definitely going to work with you because I love your look. And then the photo shoot came up and we reached out, and so I felt like we had some a little bit of a bond there. That happened.
She knew you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Not enough.
Not like personally.
Weren't strangers.
To a degree. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think they know anything about me necessarily, but had a few interactions.
Was this the same day or like the next day? I think it was the same day.
I think it was the same day.
Like a couple hours
So yeah, she didn't know you.
later. Oh no, I think what happened in the night, I saw that first one.
Right.
And in the morning I woke up and
Yeah.
this was the first thing I saw.
Yeah.
And I was like, great.
Yeah.
So this is one of the models. She wrote this.
The fuck, you're supposed to say like, we don't want to harass people, but let's do it. This is one of the models. We're gonna cover her statement and then criticize it. Come on, do it. Hit me with it.
Actually, no, I think it's fair to say which one it was, because just so that the other girl who didn't say it.
Oh, he said we're gonna call her the model. Don't harass her. So this is one of the models. Actually, let's say which specific model it was, so we can specifically not harass this model. Whatever you do, don't harass this one specific model. We're just gonna name her so that like we're doing a protective shield around her so that she doesn't get harassed.
At least it was this model.
Yeah.
And again, this is not a call to interact or harass her. Or
No.
not even harass, but just leave her alone, right? That's not my purpose in saying that. To be clear. So here it is.
So what was the purpose, bro? You can't be like, oh, here's one of the models. I'm like, okay, first of all, why are you covering this if you don't want harassment? But at least you're not going to say what her name is or like show a picture of her. Even though her name's on the fucking Instagram post, you could have edited that. And then you're like, But actually, let's dox her even more. We have her Instagram account name. Let's show her face though, so that people can identify her on site and don't actually have to look up her Instagram. Just so that you don't harass her. We're gonna name her so you don't harass her, right, guys? So why did you name? What was the point of that, bro? I'm fucking losing it.
That first one,
right?
And in the morning, I woke up and this was the first thing I saw.
Yeah.
And I was like, great.
Yeah.
So this is one of the models. She wrote this. Actually, I think it's fair to say which one it was, because just so that the other girl who didn't say it, at least it was this model.
Yeah.
Just let's follow his logic a little bit here. Ethan says, shit. Hold on. I'm gonna play this. I'll be right back.
Again, this is not a call to interact or harass her, or not even harass, but just leave her alone, right? That's not my purpose in saying that. To be clear. So here it is. It was brought to my attention that the brand owner of the makeup brand I modeled for is in support of Israel. I find that phrasing so interesting too. It's not even like is in support of genocide, just in support of Israel. It's like, what does that mean? I mean, she was born there. I'm disgusted, to say the least.
Okay, sorry. No, let me restate that. Ethan says, I don't want you to harass anyone, but actually I'm going to name the specific model that made this post so that you don't harass the other one that didn't make the post. So you're just saying, harass this one then. That's what you're doing. You know that she's going to be harassed, which I guess you're minimizing the harassment. You're not having both of them get harassed, but they are still both going to get harassed, right? Oh my god, bro, I can't believe he's like, I'm gonna show you which model to not harass, but I don't want you to harass any of them.
I was presented this job. I had no knowledge of this and would have said no otherwise. I've always been vocal about my support for Palestine and all oppressed and marginalized groups under an oppressive system. I know where my heart and core values lie. All photos have been deleted off my page, and I do not align myself with that brand. One mistake doesn't determine my entire identity nor heart. Moving forward, and I will be diligent about the brands and people I work with. Now, that's a fascinating statement she made at the end there.
No, honestly, he said, I'm going to identify her so you don't harass the other one. Well, she's already identified. Her name is written there. I don't know, man. It's kind of weird that he's like, let's show the picture of her. It's not the white one. That's what he said. Don't harass the white one. He literally said that.
Moving forward, and I will be diligent about the brand is in support of Israel. So here it is. It was brought to my attention that the brand owner of the makeup brand I modeled for is in support of Israel. I find that phrasing so interesting too. It's not even is in support of genocide, just in support of Israel. It's like, what does that mean? I mean, she was born there.
What does that mean? It means that they support the actions Israel's doing right now, and they support the idea of Israel as an ethno-state.
I'm disgusted, to say the least. When I was presented this job, I had no knowledge of this and would have said no otherwise. I've always been vocal about my support for Palestine and all oppressed and marginalized groups under an oppressive system. I know where my heart and core values lie. All photos have been deleted off my page, and I do not align myself with that brand. One mistake doesn't determine my entire identity nor heart. Moving forward, and I will be diligent about the brands and people I work with. Now, that's a fascinating statement she made at the end there. But what was your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, that's the one that really wait, what, Ducky? I don't know. Yeah, I started to feel so depressed when I saw this one, because it's like, first of all, none of what is said here is true. Second of all, it just makes me feel like anybody that comes close to me then feels like they have to.
None of what is said there is true. Well, they literally said nothing about you other than the brand owner of the makeup brand I model for is in support of Israel, and you unequivocally are in support of Israel. You wanted to take a vacation there to do a propaganda tour for your audience, and the only reason you didn't is because you're like, it's dangerous. Are you fucking kidding me, man? You're not in support of Israel? You're like, guys, Israel's great. It's just that Netanyahu's bad.
Apologize and be completely disgusted that they interacted with a Zionist. And it's like, I don't know, there's so many levels to it that.
I think it's not even so much the message, which was very nasty and extremely unprofessional.
The message was nasty? The message was literally I stand in support of marginalized people. And Ethan's like, that's a nasty message. Hila's like, that hurts me like burning a cross shape into a witch.
Professional.
And then I didn't even have her phone number, or we weren't following each other, I guess, on Instagram. So I went to try to DM her and I couldn't on Instagram. I had her email and I sent an email, never got a reply back after this.
But it's not so much the email as it is like, this is what we expect now every time we interact with anybody online. Any partner, sponsor.
Their lives are ruined and it's your fault. That's what it is. This is what we expect to say that every time we interact. It's so fucking funny. It's like the people they interact with are disgusted by their actions and they're like trying to cleanse themselves. They're like, I need to take a bath after working with Ethan and Hila, and then make a public post saying that I stand with marginalized people. And Ethan's like, that's just what that's what we expect now. We walk into the room and everyone does the sign of the cross to like protect themselves, and then say that actually I am not in favor of imperialism and genocide. I don't know what it is. Just everywhere we go, people are like, fuck, I feel disgusting now.
Model, makeup person, literally anybody we interact with is like being pressured by a mob of psychopaths to say something like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like almost immediately after the post, someone that Hila knew and worked with, and now it ended up being 3 people from the shoot who made a comment, right?
Yeah, so
3 out of like 5 people that were there.
No, there are more.
2 models, 2 assistants.
Or there are 3 models. 3 models.
I only saw those 2.
Yeah, no. There's another model. 3 models, 2 assistants.
Isn't Hila the 3rd model? I saw some of the photo shoots. Isn't she the one that modeled it?
Hair and makeup and photographer.
So I was like, immediately, like, I had no idea I was working for an Israeli. I would have never fucking taken the job.
She didn't say that. She said, I don't want to work for someone that supports Israel.
Which again, I'm not blaming people for being reactive. I do think it was deeply unprofessional, but I wish people would just just be a little more thoughtful. It's like, she did not choose to spawn in. She didn't choose her spawn point, right? Sometimes you spawn in a shitty spot and you get sniped before you even get a chance to move. Like, she did not choose her fucking spawn point. So don't call the person on your
bigotry of low expectations, Ethan. Remember when you were criticizing Hassan from interviewing Rashid al-Haddad, you were like, that's bigotry of low expectations, just expecting him to be a terrorist. We should have higher standards for that. Come on, dude. Where's the argument then that we shouldn't support Nazis because they just spawned in when Nazi Germany was coming to full strength? Where's the argument that we shouldn't criticize slaveholders from the American antebellum period? They're just responding to their situation. They're responding to stimulus in their surroundings. They have a different moral system. Sure, Hila did an illegal raid, ending up in kidnapping an innocent man from his home, but she was just an innocent child there. Let's have some accountability, bro. And this is why people say that you fucking support Israel. Because instead of just being like, yeah, she was dumb, she was a kid, she didn't know any better, she was taught propaganda to support Israel, you're justifying it. Like, you can explain it and still say that it's bad, but you're not even saying that Hila's service in the IDF was a bad thing, that was a result of a bad system. You can't say that shit because you support the IDF, and this is why people don't want to fucking work with you anymore. Even in this instance where you're like, I am not a supporter of Israel, and here's why. He goes on to support Israel. Are you fucking kidding me? Come on, like, maybe I'll be completely undercut with this argument, and he'll be like, yeah, she joined the IDF, and that was a horrible thing, and I really feel bad for her. I'm fortunate that I didn't have to join the IDF, and actually, like, I think that if I move to Israel, I'm gonna, like, campaign against the IDF. But no, he supports the IDF, and guess what? He fucking supports the expansion of the IDF. He and Hila both think that Yoav Gallant was a good guy, and why is the main reason they think he's a good guy? Because he wanted to expand the conscription into the IDF to include ultra-Orthodox Jewish people who are like, I don't want to fucking fight, that's against my religion, to take up arms, I'm a pacifist, and they're like, too bad, you have to join the military anyway and kill people. And Ethan and Hila are in favor of that. They're literally in favor of expanding the IDF, and that's why they called Yoav Gallant a good guy.
Team Shitty, who got sniped immediately for getting a bad spawn point.
You're going to talk about children getting sniped in defense of the idea. You're going to use an analogy of children getting sniped, someone who just spawned in and got sniped immediately. That's your analogy for the fucking defense of your wife in the IDF? Holy goddamn motherfucking shit. What is going on, man? The criticism of your wife is that she joined a baby-killing organization, and you're like, well, I mean, some people get spawn sniped, but my wife, she just joined the IDF that does the spawn sniping. You're literally describing Gaza right now. Some people get born and killed as babies, and my wife was the fortunate one to be born, and then the one that ended up doing the baby killing. Great analogy, Ethan. Actually, a perfect fucking analogy here. Except in your scenario, Hila got the bad spawn point. Dude, it's utterly ridiculous. He's crying and claiming the victim status while saying, my wife got the bad spawn point. She was just in the army that was doing a genocide and killing babies on a daily basis. They were doing baby shooting, baby sniping for sport. That's what they were doing. But my wife is the real victim here. She only was able to kidnap one Palestinian and she wanted to murder hundreds. Like, that's what Ethan would say in his analogy here.
Do you follow?
Kind of.
I'm saying, I wish people would just fucking stop blaming people for where they're born.
Yeah.
Then isn't that common knowledge?
She joined the fucking IDF, bro. You don't have to do that. Sorry. And like, also, you're literally defending the IDF here. You're like, oh, people in the IDF, they just are joining it because they're born in Israel. But also you justify the IDF. So, oh my God.
Don't we all know? Don't we all know that? Thought we all knew that. Right? This girl's kind of big too, though. She has like 100,000 followers.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, Hila Klein literally believes that Palestinian toddlers are taught to hate and kill Americans. Okay? Like, she believes that, and you're giving me the fucking spiel of you're just hating her because of where she's born. She worked in the IDF. She still supports the IDF. She supports the expansion of the IDF. She believes in the IDF's lies that Palestinians are just brainwashed as toddlers to hate America, and like we need to kill them because they're brainwashed. Like, you guys are terrorist supporters. You are supporters of the biggest army of terrorism in the world right now, and people don't want to work with you, and then you cry.
It's like a large Instagram model character. So yeah, pretty depressing.
Yeah, it is depressing.
Here's another one. Oh, it goes by they. Apologies. The person who says I will be more diligent to work with people that don't support Israel in the future is fascinating because on a resume, these are all on the BDS list. But nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck, right, about that. I'll tell you what's the craziest one.
How the fuck is that fascinating? The model said, I'm going to be more diligent in the future. And then it's like, oh, well, in the past, you also worked with pro-Israel companies or companies that sent money to Israel. Like, okay. So how is that statement fascinating? Like, this is a direct logical conclusion. Like, this just supports the model statement even more.
Is that these people work with Trisha.
So that's the next person.
One of these people works with Trisha.
Yeah.
Okay, Ethan, include the clip where Trisha supported the IDF in the last year. Come on, do it.
Then
Trisha's able to go on.
Like, I can play the clip from a minute ago in which you supported it.
Broadway. She's able to have sponsorships. She's able to live her life like unfucking bothered by a horde of psychopaths because her snark got removed for no fucking apparent reason, right?
So the next one is Selena, and she was the makeup assist. And once I saw her also say that, I was like, okay, I'm just...
Three now. It's it's just... I mean, you want to...
I'm stunning, Ethan. Like, I think it's time to just quit everything. Like, just disappear from the internet altogether.
Well, Trisha Paytas, I'm going to keep this up because it's important for you guys to know that the people who are trying to ruin our lives for being Israeli, there's like a massive picture. I don't know why. I don't know why it's not showing up in the Google search.
Dude, he wants to fucking like play the victim of, oh, I'm Israeli and that's why people don't want to support me. Dude, there are so many Israelis that are actually supported by anti-Zionists because they're outspoken anti-Zionists. There are so many people that are Israeli that people don't even know. Adam Friedland fucking lived in Israel for like 3 years or something, but he's actually made anti-genocide statements, and anti-Zionist statements, and you've done the exact opposite. At every turn, you use like every show as another opportunity to be pro-IDF and pro-genocide.
Someone send me this, please. And there's this one too. Why are the pictures so small? Here. Anyway, let me pull up her statement. Makeup assistant speaks out against Teddy Glow. So this is the girl who's been really wilding, or is it the other girl?
I don't know what you mean really wilding. It's just another statement.
Well, one of them has been really nasty and just continues to like be more inflammatory. I don't know, but and I'll read this one from one of the assistants now. The third person. Although I'm proud of the
Generically, one of the girl models has just been nasty. Dude, who else have I heard refer to black women as nasty, right? And wilding. Who else have I heard refer to black women like that? I mean, every racist, but specifically I'm talking about Donald Trump. Every black woman he sees is like, she's low IQ, she's a nasty woman. Like, bro, Ethan, just borrowing that shit directly from our fascist pig of a president.
looks like contributed to for this campaign. It's unfortunate to hear about the brand owner and her support of Israel.
Again, like the brand owner and her support, it's like
Yeah, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but like since the genocide has been happening, has Trisha Paytas been making a campaign against pro-Palestinian content creators because they're a little bit too mean towards her favorite ethno-state? Has Trisha Paytas been doing that? Or has she just been like enjoying her life? Which one of these two things has she been doing? Aggressive campaign against pro-Palestine content creators because they're mean against Israel, or enjoying herself? Okay, let me know. A or B? Or type it in chat, everyone.
We were there together and interacted. You know, it just feels so weird to then see people talk about me like that. And like not.
She was born there. Is that what you mean? Like,
no,
I mean,
but like
the fuck.
How about try to reach out or ask me or do some Google yourself? I don't know what's the appropriate thing, but I feel like immediately rushing to make a statement like this about somebody.
Mila, she's not your friend. You paid her for an afternoon to put makeup on and take pictures of her. Like, chill the fuck out.
You spent. I mean, the shoot was a long day, a whole day. We all spent together. It's very intimate. Everybody feels bonded when you do it like that.
Oh, it was an intimate day of bonding. You do realize these people are models and they do that for their work? Like every day they work, they have an intimate bonding day of photo shooting. And Hila's like, I thought they were my friends. Dude, tell me you have no friends without telling me you have no friends. This is embarrassing. This is actually embarrassing. Ethan and Hila are like, I took pictures of them for 3 hours in one afternoon. I thought we were so close. If they had concerns, they could have come to me. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't want to maintain a relationship with you. They probably saw your makeup and knew that your brand was doomed to fail. And they're like, why maintain a bridge here? Her product is shit. She's has a toxic reputation online. And I had no personal affiliation towards her whatsoever because her personality is like a wet blanket. They don't care about you, Hila. Stop being depressed that they were your friends. And then they're like, I don't want to work with someone who supports genociding armies. She's like, wow. Everyone give me nice comments in my community. I'm going to run to Reddit and beg them to be nice to me. Dude, holy shit, this is really sad.
We all had a great day. We loved the photo shoot. Like, so, you know, it feels like crazy to say this.
Well, it just feels like anti-Semitism is the noble racism.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's never been, at least in my world, I'm sure like if you go back in the day, people consider probably like racism against black people to be noble, right? In some circles. But it feels like in leftist circles, hating Jewish people is just the noble.
What, bro? Criticize not wanting to work with you because your wife is you and your wife though is an avid supporter of the IDF is like people pretending like hating black people is a noble thing. What are you talking about? Dude, name the fucking what are we doing here? He's like, oh yeah, back in the Americas before the 1800s, being racist was awesome. Everyone did it to get brownie points. We out-racist each other, and they thought it was like a noble profession to be racist. And that is exactly how people feel about me and my wife.
It's okay to be racist. I saw this one post. It was fascinating. I think it was on the subreddit. It was a picture of a...
No fucking shit, bro. Where else would it be? I saw this one post. I wonder where it's at. Possibly the subreddit that we have.
A woman. It was a tattoo of a woman with a Nazi swastika tattooed on her arm. It was a tattoo of a woman tattooed with a swastika on her arm. And the caption was, first of all, I want you guys to know that the client who had this done is not racist, and it's disgusting that you would even suggest that. The problem she has is not with black people, it's with the Jews. And I think that you really should look into it, because there's a lot, there's a lot of legitimate grievances there. So they go, they're not racist, they just hate Jewish people.
This is a real post?
Yeah. I saw a picture of it. It's on our subreddit, I think. It was pretty fucking...
Jesus.
Pretty insane cognitive dissonance that I've seen.
That's fucking...
Yeah, definitely a hardcore pro-Palestine lefty, right? Yeah, it's oh, these models don't want to work for us because they think that we support genocide, because we do. Well, that reminds me of a fucking swastika tattoo that a Nazi got. Great job, bro. Conflating these models, not wanting to work with the dude, Zionists are just like picking up where the Nazis left off. And arguably got even further than them, because they actually have an ethno-state right now. Like, not wanting to work with current Nazis is reminding me of like the Jew-hating Nazis. Oh, okay. But don't harass any of these models. Please don't harass the models, even though they're just like Nazis, like swastika tattooed Nazis.
Wow.
Let me try to find it. Oh, you found it. Wonderful. Thank you. Check this out. Hey, I'm more of a lurker, but a local tattoo posted this on our socials. I'm a bit stunned. This is Australia. Unsure of privacy rules. Okay, well, got nothing to do with me. I can't believe someone would get this tattooed on them and be so ignorant. So check this out. So here is this girl. She's got the SS pin on, and she's wearing a Nazi hat. Kind of looks like Trisha.
No, I don't see that.
Oh, okay. So here's what they wrote. To anyone offended by this, please know this client is not racist. He has zero issue with people of color. If this tattoo was about that, I would tell him to get the fuck out of my studio. No tolerance for racism here. This, for him, is about the Jews. And then asterisk on the E, because it's a slur, apparently. Don't believe the history you've been taught, and do your research on who runs the world, and not in a good way. So racists, get out.
I love that we both run.
Dude, also, like, we have to say that anti-Semitism is racism, right? That's what it is. But the fact that, like, it's distinguished from racism is it is like a Zionist thing. Like, the idea of anti-Semitism is another form of Jewish exceptionalism, right? You can't just say, like, racism against black people, racism against Native Americans, racism against Chinese people. It has to be anti-Semitism, and you use like the biblical Semitics, right? It's not good, because it does feel like it does make people think that, oh, I'm not racist, I just don't like Jewish people. Like, you are needlessly differentiating racism against other groups of people, like people of color, and then Jewish people. And like the whole idea of race is bullshit anyway. It's just ethnicity. It's just different cultures define ethnicities in different ways. And yes, racism against Jewish people is just as bad as racism against black people. But Ethan, in his unending ignorance, is like, a Nazi being racist against Jewish people is the same as someone that doesn't want to work with someone who supports Israel. Notice how none of the models or any of the people, like the Teddy Glow people, posted, I don't want to work with Hila because she's Israeli. They posted, I don't want to work with Hila because she supports Israel. And Ethan's like, that's racism. And that racism is just as bad as being a Nazi that's racist against Jews. Oh my God.
on the world, but also like I can't get this harassment of me to stop. You know, if I was running things, I would be able to.
Can we get our snark subreddit?
What the fuck is going on behind you?
I can't get this harassment of me to stop. You know, if I was running things, I would be able to.
Can we get our snark subreddit shut down?
What harassment is against you? People made 2 comments. Like 2 people made comments saying I don't want to work with, like, I support marginalized people and I don't want to work with pro-Israeli people. And then she's like, I'm getting harassed.
And everybody else in the world seems to have no problem doing it.
Yeah.
This blows my fucking mind.
It's pretty wild, right?
I thought for sure what you were describing was not true.
It's real. Right? No, it's a real post. And
gorgeous.
How do Nazi tattoos blow their minds? Like, bro, when people act like anti-Semitism is this like unique form of bigotry, you get shit like this where people don't understand that you can be racist against Jewish people. Like, how are they surprised by this?
Oh, here's the comments. The Witch of Buchenwald, gorgeous. The art is awesome. 6 million washed and deloused. 30+ million Christians were exterminated.
These are just all Nazis, by the way.
By the Jews and the Bolshevik Revolution, though.
Huh?
Show me the leftists in here. Like, notice how none of this shit is like, oh yeah, and fuck Israel.
Exactly. The concentration camp. Oh, this is the author who's against racism, by the way. The concentration camp had a swimming pool, a theater, and library, and no gas chambers.
What? Where have you been?
So
Zach is actually,
that's what's going on in some place somewhere.
As stupid as Ethan and Eli are, Zach is actually the stupidest guy on the show. He's like, I still remember from like 10 months ago, he's like, man, now I know what they felt in the wartime. Like, what? Because now I know what they felt in the wartime. In World War II, when 6 million Jews and 11 million other people were getting genocided by the Nazis. He's like, I know how they felt in the wartime. Because some synagogues that donate money to Israel are getting Free Palestine spray painted on them. The wartime.
Australia.
You know, it almost makes me feel like I'm the crazy one for like accepting the Holocaust happened and these atrocities happened. It's like,
Zach, that's just because you're a moron, bro. Bro's actually gonna get brainwashed by fucking 3 comments on an Instagram feed. And he's like, wow, I see some comments saying that the Holocaust didn't happen. And it makes me feel like, did the Holocaust happen? Like, dude, you read some comments on Instagram and it throws your entire world history into question. Holy fuck, dude, this motherfucker, like, I know we just clowned on him for being stupid, but he reads, that was like 2 comments that questioned that mentioned the Holocaust, and he's having an existential crisis because he built his entire personality around being the Jew that's living in a Holocaust time now, and he's like, wait a second, I read 2 comments on Instagram. Am I the crazy one right now? Did the Holocaust not happen, bro? It's Instagram comments from Nazis. The Nazis, as they were doing the Holocaust, the Nazis denied that the Holocaust was happening.
What? Where have you been?
Oh, Do Not Worry podcast.
That's what's going on.
Fuck, I should have talked with that guy.
In some place somewhere in Australia.
You know, it almost makes me feel like I'm the crazy one for like accepting the Holocaust happened and these atrocities happened. It's like, are people that fucking just delusional and crazy?
Yes. The problem is the internet, right? These fringe people who have like paranoid delusional personality disorders.
Guys, you're making me feel bad because I have to end this stream soon. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna talk with Anthony. We need to do some more stuff together. That was awesome, that stream that he did, where he got a bunch of people on, and I'm just fucking lazy. But all right, we'll wrap this up a little bit. I'll go a little bit further, but fuck, I have to go soon. I feel so bad.
Obsess over all conspiracy theories, and at the heart of every good conspiracy theories, it's always the Jews. They've been given the platform, the means, the places to influence people who are not as crazy as them, but who are very impressionable, right? And it's made a lot of these. Well, I mean, listen, Nazis took over Germany before the internet happened. So I mean, I don't know, this stuff happens, but it does.
Yeah.
Stephen Bradley said, "I'll never know how hard it is to go through this."
Yeah, this is what no political analysis does to a motherfucker. He Emio Taurus. Like, Ethan's like, I don't know how Nazis happen. Like, I don't know how they gain power, but it does. Yeah, you don't know because you don't pay attention to politics. I mean, people are literally getting kicked off of their health insurance as we speak. The government is crumbling. No one can fly anywhere. No one can eat because food stamps are being deprived from people. And Ethan's like, how does Nazism start? Like, he just doesn't understand the regular people's material conditions and how they're so dissatisfied with their lives that when a politician who just does hate mongering and is like, hey, vote for me, I'm going to just scapegoat a group of people. Donald Trump specifically is saying that it's like trans and migrant people. And now he's literally doing pogroms against like migrants that are in this country, legal or undocumented migrants. And Hitler did the same thing with the Jews. Oh, you're dissatisfied with your economic situation in life? You're dissatisfied with having no prospects and feeling like you're completely hopeless? Well, vote for me. I'm going to blame the Jews for everything, and then your lives are going to be better. How do you not understand this, dude? Like, we're literally witnessing it in real time. Ethan's just had his head in this spiral, this cloud of misery and harassment and hatred for the past year and a half that he hasn't witnessed anything that Donald Trump has been doing. Dude, this is embarrassing. You're like, man, it's just the internet makes people really hate Jewish people. Well, if you go onto fucking Instagram and Twitter, where, you know, Jew hatred is rising, and a lot of it's because of people's material conditions worsening, even under a fascist government like Donald Trump, like especially under that, but also especially because of Israel. Like, being anti-Semitic is a line that a lot of Republican talking heads have found for themselves. That's an avenue that they can start kind of absorbing other people's audience on. And yeah, it's the exact same thing. Scapegoating Jewish people for the problems of America. And you have these arguments now by people like Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes that blame the Jews for your quality of life deteriorating. Oh, we're giving billions of dollars to Israel. Meanwhile, you can't even afford rent. You can't even afford food. It's the Jews that are controlling the government, rather than identifying the reality of the situation, which is the American government gets a lot of fucking, like, the politicians that are in control get a lot of money by sending military weapons to Israel. It's not that the Zionists have taken over. It's just that American politicians prosper by being Zionist. That's the simple reality of the matter. Hey, do not worry. Oh my God, dude. Now I'm gonna have to give you $5 back. But yeah, we definitely have to have a chat again. Fuck. All right, guys, listen. Thank you everyone for the raid. Thank you for the gifted subs, everyone. I have to go, unfortunately. I'm going to be back live later, probably in like 6 or 7 hours or something, and finish up this podcast. We got about halfway through. But yeah, I'm actually going to try to like contact Anthony more often because I've been so bad about that. But yeah, thank you for showing up to the stream, and everyone have a great rest of your evening. Watch this shit and let me know what happens. All right, peace. I'm going to see you later. Bye.